The Epstein files are out. Not everything, not the full story, but enough to make people uncomfortable. Enough to remind the public that something existed, and that it didn't disappear with one man's death. So now the real question isn't what was revealed. The real question is, what happens to a country when it briefly looks behind the curtain? And then the curtain closes again. Part 1. The moment of shock. At first, there is shock. Names appear in documents. Connections resurface. Old questions return. People read headlines late at night. They send links to friends. They whisper, "Did you see this?" For a moment, attention aligns. That moment is dangerous for power, because attention is the one thing power cannot fully control. Part 2. Why the system never panics. But here's what most people misunderstand. Power doesn't panic. Power has lived through scandals before. Watergate, financial crashes, wars justified by lies. The system knows one truth very well. Public outrage burns fast. So instead of reacting aggressively, it slows everything down. Delays, procedures, committees, technical language. Confusion replaces clarity. Part 3. Distraction is not accidental. Within days, new stories appear. Political drama, economic fears, cultural conflicts, celebrity scandals. This isn't coincidence. This is crowd management. When attention fragments, pressure disappears. And without pressure, nothing moves. Part 4. Why silence from leaders is expected. Notice what didn't happen. No emergency sessions. No unified condemnation. No deep, sustained official inquiry. Because when powerful networks overlap, accountability becomes complicated. Not impossible, just inconvenient. And systems are built to avoid inconvenience at scale. Part 5. Legal reality versus moral expectation. The public expects justice to feel moral. But institutions operate legally. And legality has loopholes, statutes of limitation, jurisdiction issues, evidentiary thresholds, non-disclosure agreements. Justice doesn't fail loudly. It dissolves quietly inside paperwork. Part 6. Why big consequences are rare. People wait for arrests, but large systems don't self-destruct. They adapt. Punishing highly connected figures creates instability. Instability threatens markets, alliances, and institutions. And stability is always prioritized over truth. Always. Part 7. The media's role changes. Early coverage feels investigative. Then tone shifts from "what happened" to "this is complex" to "we may never know the full truth." Eventually, why are people still talking about this? That shift is subtle, but it's intentional. Part 8. Public fatigue is built in. Most people cannot sustain anger indefinitely. Life intervenes. Rent, work, health, family. The system doesn't need to suppress outrage. It just needs to outlast it. And time is always on its side. Part 9. The real damage? Trust. The Epstein files don't collapse governments. They erode belief. People stop trusting media narratives, illegal outcomes, institutional explanations. Not violently, silently. This is more dangerous than chaos, because silent distrust changes behavior permanently. Part 10. A fractured reality. After Epstein, America doesn't unite. It divides further. Everyone chooses a version of the story that fits their worldview. There is no shared truth. And a divided population is easier to manage than a unified one. Part 11. What the files really exposed. Not individual crimes, but a pattern. Power delays accountability. A money buys silence. And networks protect themselves. A victim's wait. The files revealed the limits of exposure. Part 12. The most uncomfortable realization. Knowing the truth doesn't guarantee change. Exposure doesn't equal justice. Information doesn't equal accountability. And that realization stays with people long after headlines fade. Part 13. What comes next? Nothing dramatic. No final chapter. Just a slow recalibration of belief. People trust less, question more, expect little. And that may be the most lasting impact of all. Ending heavy, quiet. So what happens next in America? The story doesn't end. It settles into memory, into doubt, into history, and the system moves on, counting on the fact that most people will too. Exposure shows the truth. Power decides the outcome.